Alrighty, well, I've figured out the lighting situation. One of my light bulbs burned out like 3 or so months ago, and I just haven't fixed it yet. So I'll fix that tomorrow, because I just got home and I just took a shower. I just got done running. It was hot outside, but it felt alright. I have decided on the next book, and it was from a comment, so shout out to that person. You know who you are. I'm not going to say the name in case they want to be kept confidential or anonymous, whatever. But I'm going to be going over Esther, and that'll be the next video. I'm going to do Proverbs first. So Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, and his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, and equity every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you, understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil, and delight in the perverseness of evil, men whose paths are crooked, and who are devious in their ways. So you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. So you will walk in the way of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will reign in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Alrighty then, there's a lot of stuff in there. He's telling us that we need to take up wisdom and seek it out like silver, search for it as if it's like a treasure hunt worth millions in gold, and we need to keep it and cling on to it, because that will help us through everything. It says in verse 11, discretion will watch over you, understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech. So getting this knowledge, this wisdom, not only is it good for you and knowing what to do from every day in every situation, but it guards you. It helps protect you against people who try and make you do evil, people who try and take you away from the Lord. And that's why that's what he's talking about. This whole chapter is about the value of wisdom, and it's so valuable. It's like it says in verse 7, he stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. So he's saying that wisdom, once you have it, it's a shield for you, and it guards your path. It's like bodyguards. It surrounds you and keeps you safe from any person who tries to take you away from your path of righteousness. And that's amazing, and we all should just be astonished and want that and seek that out. That should be an amazing tool that we want. Verse 16, so you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. Adultery. Now, this isn't just adultery. It was mainly adultery back then, but now we have cheating, friends with benefits, which I'm going to leave it at that. All of those things, seduction. God wants us to have relationships that are founded on Him and on love, not on worldly things. Now, I'm not saying that if you have fights, I'm going to stay away from that. But it's saying that wisdom will help you. It'll keep you from cheating. It'll protect you against wanting to go with another person when you're in a relationship. It's going to help you keep with your partner and not stray to another person. And that's really big. And if you're in a relationship, that's very important. Because if you cheat on your partner, that just tears you apart. And not only it tears you apart, it sets yourself up for a really bad reputation, and that's not good. Nor is it good in God's eyes. For it says in 18, for her house sinks down to death, and her paths to the departed. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. So, cheating, adultery, it all leads one place: death. It says that very plainly and clearly. So wisdom will help you stay away from that. So it's very important. Verse 20 through 22. So you will walk in the way of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. So that right there is saying, all of you who have wisdom and stick to God and try and seek Him out and walk in His paths of righteousness will live with Him forever. And you'll stay in it. But everyone who's wicked, treacherous, and is against wisdom, the foolish people, it says they will be cut off from the land and be rooted out of it. They'll be kicked off. Won't be allowed in. That's big for us. We have a short time in this life. Yeah, it seems like it's forever. 365 days in a year, that seems like forever. It's not. It's really short, especially when you get older. Man, back in grade school, especially my 4th grade year, the year seemed to last forever. This last year of school, my junior year in high school, it seemed like I did not have enough time to breathe. It seemed like it started, and when it ended, it should be spring break or Christmas break, but it was done. And that's how summer has been so far. I feel like it should be like the beginning of summer. It's the end of summer. School starts in 2 weeks for me. So, we have a very short time in this earth, but we have a chance of getting into the new earth and the new heaven with God. And that's all in Revelation. I'll go over that later, but the point is we need to gain wisdom, stick to God, seek out God, follow God in all that we do, and keep to the paths of righteousness. That way we will inhabit the land and we will remain on it. We won't be uprooted and cut off from the land. So that's very important. And it's this whole chapter is just showing us the worth of wisdom, the value of wisdom, how much it means, how much it's worth, and how much it should be worth to us. And to us as Christians, this is priceless. Wisdom is priceless. Now, I'm not saying that just because you have wisdom, you won't screw up. Because you will. You can look in the Bible. The person who wrote it, Solomon, he massively screwed up, but I'll get into that later. But we need to just keep trying our hardest. And I guess I'll read a verse that was very, very important to me and to someone at the church camp I went to. He was my family group leader, and he's a really good guy, and he taught me this verse when I was breaking down on the third night or so. And he told me one of his favorite verses was Proverbs 24:16. For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity. So it's saying that, yeah, we'll screw up, but we'll get up again. But the people who are wicked, they'll stumble and they'll keep down, and they will fall into calamity. They won't get up again. So ever since that year at camp, that verse is stuck in my head, and it's so true. It's so good. It's an amazing verse, and it's one of my favorites now, but it's all I really have for Proverbs. So I will be doing the Esther video right after this. That's the book I've chosen. So I will see you in that later.